Hello, guys. Today we have Françoise Netter, a LinkedIn connection and owner of Body, Mind, and Dynamics. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. Very good. Slow morning. But so, first of all, can you give us maybe a brief about your business and how did you get started?
So I my since I was 5 years old, I knew why I was here on Earth. I know that most people don't have a mission statement at 5, but I did. And I knew that at the age of 5, I was here on Earth to serve through my creativity. So that unfolded and unveiled through many circumstances in my childhood, but I always seemed to be true to that. And at 21, I discovered modern dance. And I decided that that was going to be the direction I was going to go into. But I also discovered that there was a profession called dance therapy. And I thought that would be the perfect marriage between my creativity and serving others. So that's what really launched my career. I also got very involved in my 20s in yoga and meditation. I studied in India. And so, through my own process of deep, deep personal work, meditation, recovery, and exploring why my childhood was the way it was and what it taught me, I unfolded what now is Body Mind Dynamics, which is a service company that is about personal and professional growth. And how this unfolds is that decades and decades ago, I discovered through movement therapy that not only does the mind influence the body and our outer reality, but the body also can very much influence the mind, the emotions, and our spiritual integration. So, my work is really about that. And how I allow that to happen for others is through one on one sessions, through classes in yoga, meditation, my work, which I called Movement for the Mind. This is my book, which I'll share with you later, and your viewers. And it's really about workshops, conferences, working with organizations. And today I have been really focused on an area that I call releasing trauma, activating joy, which I think is extremely important in this global climate, politically and economically, and in every other way.
Wow, it's an extraordinary brief of the business. I must say, so you are still a one-man show in this company. So you're running the whole thing. You have no team per se.
Yes and no. I have a team. I've hired other people at different times. I love collaborating with others, and I think this is a great time for collaboration. I've done retreats always with at least one other partner. I have help with social media and with marketing and also technologically. That seems to be the one area I'm not a very good. I'm a little challenged with. Not my expertise.
Correct, correct. So how does it work? This integration with the body and the mind that you're speaking about, is it sort of like a full new field, different field that has been discovered, or is it sort of yoga but in a heightened level? How does it exactly work?
That's a great question. So, we in the West have always separated the mind and the body. And since Greek times, and I write about that a little bit in the book, we really elevated the intellectual mind. But what we have found now, specifically in the 21st century, and even at the end of the 20th century, is that our brains have many different wave functions. And in our normal intellectual left-brained daily life, we are mostly in the beta brainwave state. And what medical research and research in post-traumatic stress has done is they have realized that most healing, especially with PTSD and what I call the 5 prongs of trauma, we can't do it through the intellectual mind. We must do it at least through the alpha brainwave state, which is usually where trauma occurs. So what I do with my work with movement, which is not necessarily, it's not yoga, that's a separate entity, is that I take people to the alpha brainwave state, which is a very creative, slower brainwave. It's also where we can release stress. And in that place, healing happens. The ability, so again, to look at the whole structure of the body mind, what we know now through quantum physics, through epigenetics, through psychoneuroimmunology, which again, I talk all about that in my book, is that every cell in the body is connected to the mind, to the emotions, and who we are on a subtle level. So we might call that our spiritual bodies. And it's all one system. What the ancient yogis knew, what the great masters of Eastern medicine, like acupuncture, knew, is that we're not separate. We're one being, and we are so much more vibrational and energetic than we are matter. And so a lot of studies in neuroscience now, and again, epigenetics, have proven this to be true. So my work embraces that and allows people to deal with their emotions, to deal with things that are hidden within them that come out through the body. And I talk about this in my work with somatization. I can't even say the word, but our ability to, what we do is we translate our emotions and our stress and our mind through our physical body. And what we know now in stress management is that stress is the number one cause of all illness and disease.
A natural follow through question that I would come up is that how do
I'm
you
not.
how do you get the people through their different states? So you said beta and alpha. How do you make the people transition between these states?
So there are lots of techniques, and when I teach yoga, as we know, yoga is an ancient system. Most of us know yoga as hatha yoga, which is the poses, the asanas. And the great thing about yoga is that we use breath and we use movement, but it's not necessarily conscious to heal anything. And so I do yoga classes. Meditation is a great way to move into the alpha brainwave state, because what you do is you quiet the intellectual mind, and through breathing and through either mantra or chanting or other guided visualization ways, you can get into deeper states of connecting to these slower brainwave states that can create enormous healing. And then the third way that I do it is I work with people in movement for the mind, which we first start with, well, what do you want to work on? What's going on in your life? Is it a trauma from childhood? Is it something that just happened? I've worked with clients who were very aware of so many losses in their life. And as we know, during COVID, it changed a lot for a lot of people. We lost our sense of community. Many people lost loved ones. We felt alone, isolated. So it can be uh, any kind of an event that seems to have eradicated some portion of your life. So we'll talk about it first, which is the beta brainwave state. And then I will use guided movement and music and ways of facilitating their ability to move into the alpha brainwave state. For some people, one gentleman came to me and he had been experiencing tremendous upheaval, tremendous pain. He hadn't felt joy or settled or calm in decades. So I work very intuitively. So the first thing before we could delve into any of the stuff, I had to give him an experience which I facilitated through music and through guidance and through him getting in touch with his body through movement into a place of feeling peace and joy and calm. But what's different than just meditation is that we also move. So it is translated into this physical form. And when something is translated in the body, then you can repeat it. It becomes the groundwork for a new pattern of being, a new pattern of acting, a new pattern of thinking, and a new pattern of feeling. And from that place, you can create a new reality.
Wow, that was strong. Um, so you mentioned sort of music. What sort of music do you guys listen to? Is there a certain frequency that sort of helps you get to that state, or how does that work?
Oh, you have the best questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know today there's a lot of research on the frequencies of music. I don't work that way. Um, I, through the decades, have found certain music that is either activating or feels dissonant or is extremely soothing. And I just tune into the melody of it, whether it has a drum beat, whether it's soft. There's certain music, and so I use the music that I have sort of identified over the decades that still works.
So no frequencies.
I don't, yeah, no, I guess that's not my expertise either. Or it
R-
is, and I don't know it.
Right.
I use music as a mood. I use music to sort of create an environment that that person will either resonate with or move against. And either way, it works.
Hmm. Interesting.
So rather than vibration in the music, I use it as an environment to invoke a certain state of being.
So you keep mentioning states of being.
Yes.
Is there like a guideline of how many states of being there is, or is there like a finite amount, or could be infinite? How does that work?
Oh, I do love your questions. I don't know how many states of being there are. We can identify, I know there are researchers that identify certain emotions that are positive, certain emotions that are negative. And, but I don't know how many states of being there are. I'm sure all of us know when we're feeling good, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling depressed, when we're feeling despair, when we're feeling joy, when we're feeling like we're in love, when we're feeling ecstasy, when we're enjoying things. So those is, I think, the emotional states really help to dictate our states of being.
Yeah. Another question that I had is that, for example, for an adult that's never really done like these sorts of work and tapping into their alpha state per se, is there maybe an exercise that you would maybe recommend to people to try on a daily basis so that they can be more connected?
Absolutely. I think, the great yogis were so wise, and we're now incorporating so many things that the ancient ones knew about. And one of them is in yoga called prana, and it's breathing. And for most of us, we breathe very shallow. We're not aware of our breath. And so for someone who has never done in meditation, who's always busy, always moving, always doing something, I would say pause and learn how to breathe deeply. And once you learn, I have an MP3 and a CD. It's called Redress Your Stress, and I send it as an MP3 now. And in it, there's a 5 minute breathing exercise that I call the complete breath. And it invokes all five lobes of the lungs. And when I started teaching this, I remember I work with educators, giving graduate credits, K through 12. And in one of my courses, which I called Redress Your Stress, there was a gentleman who was taking the class for credits. He needed it to go up his salary scale. He needed it for recertification. And when he entered my class, he basically told me, Françoise, I'm going to be sitting in the back. I need the credits. I will attend all your classes, but just know I'm going to sit here and grade papers because I don't need anything but the credit. I went, great. So, of course, we do experiences in these classes. So I taught the complete breath, and it's a 5 minute exercise. I asked my teachers to do it 5 minutes twice a day, and I teach them how to invoke all five lobes of the lungs, and we isolate it first and then we put it together. So I wasn't really watching whether he was doing the exercise or not, but I did it. And we all, I first taught how to do it and then we all did it. And class was over. Next day we came back. This gentleman sits in the front of the room and he goes, I've been doing that breathing exercise. I've been in pain for 10 years. And for the first time in my life, I'm not in pain. I need you to make a tape of this for me, and I will take every other course you give. And so I created this MP3, this CD for him, and I've been using it in my work ever since. So it's called the Complete Breath, and people can contact me to get it. But it really teaches you how to breathe deeply. And what it does is it also completely quiets the mind because you constantly in the body, and it slows your brain wave down to that alpha brainwave state.
Well, I will definitely be contacting you because life has been stressful.
Well,
Um,
welcome to Planet Earth 2025, right?
yes. I mean, it's tough. Tough these days. How did you get into this field? Was there maybe just a desire that you got attracted to? You're like, wow, this is amazing dance, and I can really, tap into my hobby, also my profession in a way, or what is your key findings in the past like years that maybe you were like, wow, like that's crazy. Like I never knew that and people should know about this.
Well, I guess I'll share a little bit about my story. as a source of inspiration for other people's stories. As I said, when I was 5, I knew why I was here. And then I was not born in America. I was born in Europe. And I was born to all Holocaust survivors. And I really didn't understand what that meant because they never talked about it. And we went back and forth from America to Europe. And at the age of 7, my father hated America and he said, no, we're moving back to France. And my mother ended up divorcing him, and I didn't see my father again for until I was 21, and I only saw him twice in my life after that. Well, actually, yes, once after that. And my mother married my stepfather, uh, who was an Auschwitz Holocaust survivor, and he became my greatest perpetrator sexually, emotionally, and finally, at the age of 16, and he started abusing me from the age of 9 to 16. My mother finally believed me and threw him out of the house. Now, I became self-supporting at 16, and I also began to question what allows some people to go through tremendous adversity and trauma, like my stepfather, who survived Auschwitz, and become just like their perpetrators, like the Nazis. The Nazis had literally been successful with him. His body survived, but his mind, his heart, his soul had been destroyed. So he became just like them. And what allows other people who have gone through tremendous adversity and trauma to become great, like Viktor Frankl, like Alice Hurt Summers, like the Dalai Lama, like Nelson Mandela, and to contribute to this earth. So for me, my life really was an unfolding of constantly looking for these answers. And somehow I knew that I had to heal my wounds and to grow and evolve. And I always was sort of different in this lifetime. I began to dream things when I was 9 years old that came true. I began doing readings, spiritual and psychic readings for others when I was 9. And I developed this very huge intuitive uh, gift, I guess, which we all have, but for some reason I was born with it. And then I developed it over the decades. So my life was a platform for spiritual, emotional, and personal growth. And I was always extremely creative. I was an artist. I'm a writer. I've been an actress. I've been a professional dancer. So for me, it was always weaving my avocation with my vocation. It was being authentically who I am and knowing that my life on earth is to serve through that, through my own personal growth, through my spiritual growth, and then to share that wisdom with others, not in my way, but to facilitate the best in them. Because I really believe today more than ever, and I've been doing this for over 4 or 5 decades, that today it is more important to heal your wounds, to not project that negativity external to yourself, to definitively connect inwardly and connect with others. Because this is a very important time on earth where I believe we can destroy this planet or we can evolve it. And that means that each one of us must do our own inner work and at the same time share that with others in their own way. Not everybody has the same path. So I like to think that my work I is different for different people because everyone's in a different place.
Amazing. It's quite a seems like quite a difficult childhood. I'm sorry to hear, but I'm happy that you're in a much better state currently. Um,
Well,
let's touch with the book, and we don't have much time, so let's wrap it up if possible, François.
yeah, so my book, it's called Movement for the Mind, Dance that Awakens Healing, Inspiration, and Wisdom. And you can buy it on my website. I also have an ebook. And as I said, I also have an MP3 that is a match for Movement for the Mind, where you can do it at home. And it's guided movement. And the book also has uh, a different chapter, four chapters where you actually can do the exercises at home. And it's available on my website. It's available on Amazon and many other places. And again, as I said, I have a hard copy and an ebook. And my website has all my CDs and MP3s as well.
Françoise, it was amazing speaking to you, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Do you want my information?
I will put it in the description.
All right. Well, thank you. And I want to give one more thing for anybody that's listening to the podcast. I'd love to offer a free 15-minute consultation with me by Zoom, by phone, and I really would like to give that to your listeners.
Amazing. Thank you.